my beautiful ladies, welcome back to Jalisa's Fashion Files. This video will be the third and final in the plus size series. Last week we discussed ways that we'd be able to visually minimize our upper bodies, and in this week's video we will be discussing ways that we'd be able to visually minimize our lower bodies. So if you are a pear or hourglass and you feel a little bit insecure or uncomfortable with your wider hips and you just want to know ways that you'd be able to visually camouflage or conceal those areas, we will be discussing that in today's video. So the first item that I wanted to mention is the cardigan, and I felt it fitting to mention this one first since we will be transitioning into fall very soon. It's a great transitional piece. So if you do not have a cardigan, and I will be showing you which one you want to go out and get, you must go get one because it's really good for layering and it's just a great versatile piece. You can wear it to work, you can wear it to, you know, a casual setting, anywhere that you'd be able to wear a blazer, you'd be able to wear a cardigan. So when it comes to your wider hips, you want to avoid cardigans that are going to lay right around your hip area or right above your hip bone, because what that's going to do, it's going to cause the eye to visually focus in on your smallest area, which is your upper body, and then make your lower body look that much more wider. So of course this all depends on how wide your hips are, but I will definitely suggest a waterfall cardigan. I personally love these. I think they're great. They just give more of a cozy feeling for the fall and, you know, going into winter. So this is what a waterfall cardigan looks like. So it's not form-fitting. You can see that it's not short, and this is something that is ideal for you, and the reason is that it's going to lie and skim across your hips. It's not going to be clingy, and it's going to visually minimize the width since it's going to go, of course, longer than your widest part of your hip. That is very, very important. So when you're looking for these type of cardigans, you definitely want to try them on because it all comes to play with your height and of course how wide your hips are. So obviously the taller you are, you want to go with something that's a little bit longer, or if you're a petite but you love wearing, you know, 6-inch heels or 5.5-inch heels, then definitely you can go with something that's a little bit on the longer side. But I definitely suggest something like this, especially when the ends have like a tapered in effect. This one doesn't have that, but if you can come across something that has like a triangular shape towards the bottom, that is perfect, because not only is it going to skim the surface of your hips, but it's going to cause the cardigan to kind of come inwards, or you could even tie it if you want to do something like that. You can just, you know, tie it in a little knot, and it's going to just cause the eye to focus in this midsection here as opposed to the sides. So definitely suggest something like this. This one I also love because it has, you know, vertical lining or paneling down the sides, and something like that is great also because as it's skimming the surface of your hips, it's going to have that, you know, that solid line pattern, and it's going to slim you because vertical lines tend to do that. And I always suggest, if you like the stripe trends, if you are a pear or an hourglass and your hips are really wide, definitely go with a vertical stripe as opposed to the horizontal ones, because the horizontal ones are only widening you even more when it comes to the lower portion of your body. So definitely if something's going to skim the surface of your hips and your butt area, you want to go with something that's vertical. Well, number one, go get a cardigan. They're really affordable. You can get them anywhere, and they are a staple piece transitioning into fall and also transitioning into spring. Okay, so moving right along to our second item, which is a blazer. I will be posting a picture of myself in one of my most recent blog posts because I really loved how the outfit came along, but you can also see how it doesn't look like I'm a pear shape at all. It looks like I'm pretty much like a boy shape. I'm straight up and down, and the reason why is because of the color combination and the blazer itself. So when it comes to blazers for you ladies that have wider hips, you want to go with something that is undefined, that is basically neutral and is just shapeless. So this has no shape. I know I'm talking about the outer part. I'm not talking about this inner part here. You can definitely do something like that since you do have a smaller waist. That at the same time is going to be causing attention in this midsection, but the outer portion here, as you can see, is straight, and that is something that you want, and you want to get something that is long, of course past the widest part of your hips, because it's going to just skim the surface of your hips and it's not going to cause them to look that much more wider. It's going to cause them to look more narrow, as you can see in the picture of myself here. Now another thing I want you to take note of is if you get a blazer, regardless of the color, I would definitely suggest that you pair the same colored pants and shoe with it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because monochrome type looks tend to have an elongating effect. I did mention that in my height videos. I did the tall version and the petite version. And I mentioned how it has an elongating effect. Now, of course, it all depends on how tall you are and how comfortable you feel in, elongating yourself even more. But this is a strategy that works really well because since it's more of the same color, it's just going to cause the eye to create a slimming effect, especially if you're wearing the same colored shoe as you are the pant, and of course paired with the blazer. So again, you can see in the photo of myself here that I look pretty much straight. I don't look like I have any curves going on, and the eye is just going to pop right into the midsection, which is where my shirt is. And so you can definitely play around with that. So if you wanted to do something like a red blazer and red jeans and a red shoe, maybe that has an accent heel or some type of design to still maintain interest, and then use a pop of color in the top, you'd definitely be able to get away with something like that, and you will be concealing your hips at the same time. Okay, so moving on to the third item, I will be inserting a picture for this one. You want to avoid peplum depending on how wide your hips are. So I wear peplum myself because my hips are not that large as they used to be. I did lose 20 pounds and my hips were exactly like the place where I had all the weight. So depending on how wide your hips are and of course what you feel comfortable and confident with. If you have wider hips and you feel comfortable wearing a peplum, then by all means do it. But I will say that the peplum tops do have the tendency to widen you out visually around your hips because it makes your hips appear wider because of the flare out that's at the bottom. So it's not only with peplum tops, with peplum dresses or peplum skirts, anything that has that flare out around that hip area is definitely going to cause the tension to be placed there, and it's going to visually enhance and make larger that area. So if that's something that you definitely want to avoid, then I would suggest that you do not wear peplum, of course, like I said, depending on how wide your hips are. So with skirts, you definitely want to go with an A-line skirt because they're the most flattering for any body shape, including those of you who have wider hips. So what that does is it just barely skims the surface of your hips. It's not clingy, it's not adding any unnecessary dimension or volume, as opposed to circle skirts, which are wide in its nature, and it's just adding more volume to your hips and making them appear even more wider and dramatic than what they are. So if you do like this type of style of skirt, you can wear it as long as you wear a voluminous top, a really great statement necklace or piece, then it's going to cause the eye to be balanced out. But if you're going to just pair it with a basic tank top or shirt, it's going to cause the eye to focus in on that area predominantly and make your upper body appear even more smaller than what it is. Now, when it comes to pencil skirts, you want to also be careful because pencil skirts are very form-fitting and they will cling to your hips and then have that little flare out effect right around the knee area. So if you really want to wear a pencil skirt, again, I would suggest maybe you wear it with a blazer that, comes a little bit longer, like I mentioned, around the hip area, and that has no shape, or a cardigan that has the same effect, or also a blouse that's oversized and you can kind of tuck it in and have like a little bit of volume going on top with a statement necklace. That will also balance out the eye. But if you were, again, just to do it with a plain top or a form-fitting top, it's going to cause the eye to focus in on your hips, and it's going to give a more dramatic effect and making them appear more wider. So now moving right along to jeans, the best type of jeans that you can get to minimize your hips are either a flared, a boot cut, or a bell-bottom jean. And the reason why is because it creates a little bit of dimension to the lowest part of your body towards your feet area, and it creates a pattern that balances you out visually. So you have your widest part, which is your hips, it tapers into your thigh and knee area, and then you have your calves, and then it tapers out with the flare of the jeans. So it creates like an hourglass bottom effect, and it visually balances you out. So if you love your skinny jeans and other type of jeans, you can definitely still wear them, but of course you're going to have to play up the top to add some dimension up top to balance you out. But if you are one of those type of people that don't like really dressing up with tops, you're just a kind of shirts and tee type of girl, then you would definitely want to go with something like this, since it's going to balance you out visually and you don't have to worry about doing too much on top. So now when it comes to the different colors or fades of jeans, I would definitely suggest a dark wash jean. They have a more slimmer effect, so the darker the better. But I will say that they do have a dressier vibe, so you'd be able to get away with it at a dress down day at work with a blazer, or a casual, semi-casual lunch date or business date, or a night out with friends. So let me go ahead and show you a pair that I have. These are by Guess, and I absolutely love Guess's flared jeans. I think that they are really, really good. Them and Seven, they make really good jeans that really fit women who have larger hips and smaller waists. I very rarely have to wear a belt with any of their jeans, so I would definitely suggest that you know, hit up your next Marshalls, TJ Maxx, or even go to the stores directly to try them on. Or I wouldn't suggest ordering if you're not familiar with them, because, you know, the sizing is not just like, you know, a size 2, it's like a 22, 25, 20, I don't think there's a 22, but you know what I'm saying. It's like European style sizing. So if you're not familiar with the brand, I would suggest that you go to a store and try them on. Macy's does sell them as well. But you can see that it's dark, and to make it more spring or summer appropriate, I would definitely suggest that you pair with a beige, a white, or an off-white cream blazer or top to kind of lighten things up a bit, because it can have a fall or winter vibe since it's a darker jean, and you don't typically see these type of jeans during the spring and summer months. So to make it more seasonal, you can play up the rest of your outfit with lighter accessories and clothing. So that is something that I would suggest. And of course, now when it comes to the back pockets, if you have a booty and you are just not comfortable with your booty, you feel it's too big or it's too wide and you're just not comfortable with it, I would say that it's all in the pockets. You do not want to go with a pair of jeans that have smaller pockets or that has like those little faux pockets that have a little slit, because those, what they do is it places more attention to your rear, since there's more material that is not taken up by the stitching of the pocket that's actually showing your rear. So it's going to be placing more attention. So the wider and the bigger the pocket in length, the better. It's going to give a little bit more of a slimming effect in that area. Now finally, moving on to dresses. If you're like me and you love wearing dresses, but you want to get something that's really going to make you look good and just minimize your wider hips, I would suggest, I'm bringing out my favorite dress again. One of my favorites that I featured in last week's video is this one from New York & Company. Now the reason why I'm bringing it up today or in this week's video is because it has ruching on the sides where the hips are. So you want to go with the dress that has ruching on the sides, because it's going to, like I mentioned many times, ruching has a slimming effect, and when it's on the side of your hips, it creates just a more slimmer and cinched or more narrow effect, and it doesn't look as wide as it typically does. So with your dresses, if you can go out and get as many dresses that have that type of ruching effect. I did mention last week that jersey style dresses tend to have more ruching detailing than others. Then definitely go out and stock up on that, and you'll feel really good about yourself. Your hips won't look as wide, and you feel really, really confident wearing your dress and feeling feminine and walking around if that's your style, if you're very girly and feminine. Okay ladies, so that completes this video. As always, I hope that you found my suggestions helpful. I will mention, as I did last week, that I tend to respond a lot faster on Facebook, so if you want to interact with me more, ask me some suggestions about your body shape, you don't know which one you are, or how to style certain pieces. If you're unclear about it, you can post that on Facebook, either on my wall, or you can message me there, and I will respond most likely faster than I do here on YouTube, since I am not here as much. Since I post a video every week, I just am mainly here to check comments and emails, but on Facebook, I'm interacting with my readers and viewers a lot more, since I'm constantly posting things. So you can definitely go ahead and like my page so you can get updates on, fashion advice for both the plus size and non-plus size on my page, and interact with me more. Alright, so don't forget to check out my fashion blog, jalisasfashionfiles.com, for outfit of the days, for work ideas, date night ideas. I have a whole bunch of different fun stuff going on over there, so definitely check that out. And I will see you in next week's video. Until then, stay beautiful, confident, and just know that you are special and beautiful. Alright guys, I love you and appreciate you, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.